Jinkies. That was not good. I had a couple friends of mine see this movie before I did, and they all hated it, and I'd already seen a lot of the buzz online about it not being very good, and I just thought to myself that it couldn't possibly be as bad as people were saying. But, hooey! It's really just not good.
It's just a shame that the original film inspired such a glut of glorious shitposting and drama online for years, but the sequel turned out to be such a disappointment for many.
So 5 years later, they decided the logical thing to do was turn it into a musical, starring Lady Gaga of all people. Well, gee, what could possibly go wrong?
And nothing like that really feels like is happening here. They will just suddenly stop, sing a song about being happy. Every single song is about being happy. And it got to a point where every time I would hear them start to sing, I would just think to myself, shut up! I don't like this. This isn't fun. What am I learning? What am I discovering?
Finding someone who actually likes this movie is like trying to find a shiny Pokemon while playing Fortnite. But even so, I tried going into this with an open mind. And I did see that it wasn't as bad as I expected. I mean, the opening scene was pretty good. But that's it, folks. That's all I got.
This movie had a D cinema score. Nobody likes it. The people are, like, not showing up into the theaters to see it. It's like getting some of the worst, like, box office tracking ever. Like,
so in
they
terms
literally
of,
made a bomb. They did it on purpose.
They fulfilled their artistic mission here successfully. Like, we made something so unlikable that we feel redeemed in some way, that we even made it at all.
Well, Joker 2 sucked, I guess. Well, it's a good thing I wasted my money on something good instead. So I just saw Transformers 1, and like I said, it was good. And it might just be the best Transformers film we had to date. Though, there's a little asterisk there. Because let's be honest here, that's not a high bar. And I'm not just including the Michael Bay ones, I'm also including the 80s one as well. Since although I enjoyed the film, it kind of went downhill during the second half, and it was an obvious toy commercial. Which I know is unsurprising given it's Transformers, but it was clearly obvious, especially when they kill off the old characters and replace them with the new ones. The Bay films, although they were visually impressive, I don't think it's an uncontroversial statement to say that these movies suck, and they only exist just for action slog. The only film I thought it was pretty decent was Bumblebee, which although I do like the characterization of that movie, the story just didn't work, and became very convoluted by the end. And the less said about Rise of the Beast, the better. So it wasn't a big shock that I wasn't excited for this movie, especially when the trailer didn't look that great anyway, and it looked like some other random kids movie. Also, given the fact that it was directed by the guy who did Toy Story 4, and the person who did the screenplay wasn't any better, so I had really low expectations about this movie, and I actually did not want to see it. But the only reason why I did watch it was really from word of mouth, saying the movie was really good during test screenings. And given the fact that one of them was Jobby the Hong, and he said it was really good, my interest suddenly changed. And after watching it, they were not wrong. This is a huge leap forward for the Transformers movies. Now again, this is not a high bar. The movie quality is on the same level as any other Pixar movie. But on the other hand, given the fact we had so much shit over the years, and this is the best we got, this is the fucking gold standard so far. And there's some things I actually did appreciate. If you're gonna talk about the animation, it looks surprisingly really good. These were the same guys that did the other Transformers movies. I gotta say, they actually did a pretty good job with this film. It did kind of remind me a bit of Beast Wars, but with better animation. The one problem I had was the faces. I'm not gonna lie, it had to get a lot of used to. But once I did, it pretty much made the animation worth it. The thing I really did not like though was the music. Apparently this was the same guy that did Transformers Prime, which is cool and all, but if I don't even remember it, I don't really care for it. I did like the fact how they handle Optimus's rise as a leader to Megatron's fall from grace. I was kind of scared that they're gonna dumb down their shattered friendship like I expected, but no, they didn't sugarcoat it. By the end, Megatron hates Optimus's fucking guts, and Optimus feels really sad about it. It was actually not only really great, but surprisingly tragic. Especially earlier in the film. A common criticism that I heard is that Megatron's turn felt rushed, but I thought it actually worked, given the fact that the character not only has anger issues, but basically his entire life was a lie, and one makes them pay for what they've done to Cybertron. And you might not really agree with him, but you can at least understand what he's getting at. And given all of those mixed emotions in his mind, it slowly turns it into the Megatron we all know, which is the complete opposite of Optimus. While he is the troublemaker of the two, he still wants to see the betterment of Cybertron, and does want things to change, but work with the system in a more peaceful manner. It not only shows how much they change throughout the film, but it also shows how much their ideals differ, to the point that it affects their friendship. and it makes it more tragic by the end. And even some of the voice acting surprised me. Chris Hemsworth does a really good job as Orion Pax, though I did expect that, given the fact the character is supposed to be more goofy. But when he becomes Prime, it was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, and actually kind of fit the character well. Although there was one line that was so bad that it made me want to kill myself. Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron, who also plays Miles' dad from Spider-Verse, and this guy, was actually pretty good as well, and might be the best part of the movie. Like with Chris, he kind of starts off a bit different than we used to, but when he actually snaps, it actually becomes surprisingly effective, and he does a really great job as Megatron. Though the problem is the other characters are kind of mid. I thought Scarlett Johansson was fine as Alita 1. She wasn't bad per se, but she was also kind of forgettable. And Keegan-Michael Key was good as Bumblebee, but he kind of got annoying really quickly. The whole joke they did, I think they did 5 times, and none of it was really that funny. The only joke that actually got me in the audience was, I'm gonna work for the government. And that was the biggest laugh in the theater. Granted, there's only 5 or 6 people there, but take it what you will. Not to say all the voice acting was atrocious. Lawrence Fishburne was great as Alpha Trine, and I thought he fit the character well. And John Hamm as Sentinel Prime was also kind of the highlight. The voice acting isn't terrible, it's just that some characters get overshadowed by others, if that makes any sense. The plot isn't really too special when it starts off. It's basically your standard hero's journey / buddy cop film. But by the end of it, it does turn to something even more. Like the film does tackle social issues, but the higher-ups make the little guy's life worse. And it's actually surprisingly not only well done, but more nuanced than I thought. And I think it's a message that a lot of people can relate to. Granted, it's done in a transformery way, but I still think it's something that I think anyone could get across. Unsurprisingly, there's a lot of fan service in this movie, but thankfully it's not done in a way that's untasteful. It's not only done to make it more useful, but actually do it to its own advantage, like world building, characters, etc. I do like the fact that it used elements from Transformers lore, while also be able to stand on its own. I could see someone who's not even a fan of Transformers, or actually even hate Transformers, get into this movie, which makes it more memorable to me at least. There were some dumb moments within the story though. Like there's one scene they were in a train or something, and there's some rocks that move really, really close or whatever, and the train's frequently dodging it, and I thought to myself, why doesn't the train just go really, really high up and dodge all the rocks? Or just go really, really far away? It's not like the entire landmass is moving, there's still some safe spots anyway, so why even dodge this thing? And there are some conveniences too. The guy hates miners, both draw Optimus and Megatron down the junk part of Cybertron, which they conveniently meet Bumblebee. And this is where they find a MacGuffin to find Alpha Trion. And when they do find Alpha Trion, he just so happens to be in stasis mode, and he just gave some energon to wake him up. Which, while it is convenient, I can still at least accept it. My issue comes more with the fact that this makes Sentinel Prime more of an idiot. Sentinel betrays the Primes for the Quintessons, and he was going to take the Matrix for himself. But since Primus or God doesn't like him, it just fucks off, and now Cybertron's low on energon. So Sentinel forces the other Cybertronians to mine for more energon, while also removing the part to transform. Now I can understand all of that, but you're thinking much more cunning with this, especially if he's tied to the truth. Because after Alpha Trion turns to a lion or something, he gets ambushed by this arachnid character, and you would think they'll kill him there. But no, instead they just bring him to the throne room and kill him there. Like, why would you want to bring him over there when you could have easily killed him right over there in the service world while you weren't where to hide the body? And what makes it worse, he does it again with the elite guard and let half of them live, even though he could have easily killed him off in the service world without anyone knowing. And unsurprisingly, he pays for it. I can understand that some of it might be an oversight to his part, or that his pride got the better of him, but the other stuff kind of makes him more like an idiot, especially if your entire goal is to hide the truth. Sentinel Prime's just a dumbass. So overall, Transformers 1 was a pleasant surprise. Now again, this might be because I'm a Transformers fanboy, and I have a clear bias, but given the fact this movie had a lot of praise outside of that, it is a good sign for a film. And while it didn't do too well in the box office, the praise that it's getting might be its salvation. After all, Spider-Verse was in the same situation, and was also a bomb. But thanks to the high praise it gotten, and also high demand, it managed to make a sequel for itself, and that film became much more successful. So maybe Transformers 1 might get the same treatment. Minus the overworked animators. So yeah, overall, check it out. Go watch this and Joker 2, and I'm giving this one 8 dead Transformers out of 10.
That defective mining bot. We're miners. The industrious miners. Miners?
Miners. There's miners in the race.
Miners. Godless miners. Miners.
You need rest and time to repair.
Focus, miner.